Kartik, photography, videography is a very creative profession by nature. So, how do you maintain that creativity? What is your inspiration?
Most creative people I know go through a creative block most of the times. Don't just shoot because you're getting paid, shoot because you love to do it.
Photography is what? Is it a talent or it is a skill?
So, yes, it's a mix of both. So, the skill is what you acquire with the instrument you have, the talent is what you see. Even if I try to replicate my own photographs, it may not 100% be the same.
Kartik, when we talk about Indian weddings, these are very complex in nature, So, what are the challenges you face?
Chaos is something which I always want to be a part of, and Indian weddings cannot be done without any chaos.
How a client or a couple decide a good photographer or a good cinematographer for their wedding?
So it's not based on Instagram followers.
So friends, this is Pritesh Lanka. I am a wedding planner. I've been doing weddings from last 15 years. So our motto is to make people happy. And that's the reason I'm in this profession. And this podcast is Aishal Weddings Podcast. We try and get you people from different areas of weddings, different experts of wedding, and ask them the questions which might help you in your wedding or when you're planning the wedding. Hey, hello friends. Today we have Kartik with us.
Hello.
Kartik is a photographer, wedding photographer. He is the person who shoots without the gun, right? Kartik, photography, videography is a very creative profession by nature. So, how do you maintain that creativity? What is your inspiration? What do you do? Because in decent communication, you also said that when client gives you a time which is not maintained, people are like sitting, and then you feel the dip in creativity. So how do you manage that? How do you keep yourself motivated?
So yeah, that is a very important and interesting question, because obviously most creative people I know go through a creative block most of the times. And sometimes you're shooting through it also. So it's not, because we are in a profession where it requires you to be present at all times. You have to do your job well. But yeah, when you are doing, maybe in the off season, when photographers are just chilling and roaming around, I always suggest them to make sure you take your camera. So don't just shoot because you're getting paid. Shoot because you love to do it.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
really
So that is very important, because most people I know, when they start wedding photography in the first and second year, they're always like pumped up and they're always ready to shoot. But when you get matured in this industry, that is when you realize you're just doing it for the sake of it. And not many people will say this, but it is kind of true, because you let the industry take over you, right? So that is something which I strictly advise. Like, people should always document anything. You document your friends and family, you document your pets, you go on a trip, you document your journey or anything of that sort. But yeah, you should always be in that zone where you see the world differently than any other person can. That is why you're a photographer.
Okay, one more important question which comes to my mind. Photography is what? Is it a talent or it is a skill?
So yes, it's a mix of both. So the skill is what you acquire with the instrument you have. The talent is what you see. So what you see will always be different than what the other person sees. Even if I try to replicate my own photographs, it may not 100% be the same. It will be 95% or 99%. But the emotion I am going through at that moment when I've clicked the button is obviously going to be different, even if I try to replicate. So it's a mix of both. But yes, you need to have an eye for the detail, because when I'm shooting weddings, I see a lot of people, I see a lot of things differently, and I'm sure all of my colleagues also see things differently. That is why they've been doing that.
And what is a typical process you follow when you finalize a client?
Yeah.
So what is that you do?
So
3-4 months.
Yeah, so the ideal process is once we have finalized with the couple, we try to meet them as much as I can, like I said to you, and we try to form a WhatsApp group wherein we're staying in touch. Obviously, we want to know what is their view, what is their view for their wedding. Obviously, they have a particular vision where they want uh, their wedding to be documented in a certain way. So we try to get a mix of what they see and what we can offer, and that is the culmination, like that is the mixture that we want to make for them. So yeah, and apart from that, we try to involve a lot of family members also. So I'd always tell my couples, one thing is that you try to involve your family also in this discussion, because they are not sure, they don't know why the process is so complex. They feel that photography is very easy and it can be done very easily. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. But in today's time, when you are trying to preserve memories for a very long time, you need to get that much time, and we try to make them understand. So we try to have a discussion with the family members as well. We try to meet them and we try to tell them, you don't rush them, because sometimes I see the couple gets very flustered, and because they have a lot of thoughts on their head, they try to lose it. So yeah, so I try to communicate with everyone I can, so that I don't have any more surprises on the wedding day.
Yeah, that's a good idea. One more important thing which is about this photography, especially in wedding photography, there are a lot of things which are changing, as we discussed also. So I want you to help me understand the difference. Okay. So what is this a traditional photography versus candid photography normally people?
Okay, yes. So yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. So traditional photographer is someone who will document your day as it is going. So the term traditional and candid photography have been invented by photographers to like scale the market in a way, right? Photographer is a photographer. No matter what he's doing, he's documenting the day for the couple. So the basic difference is the traditional photographer will majorly be documenting your day as it's going by, your group photographs, the stills of your vidhi and stuff like that. Wherein a candid photographer will do the same thing but in a very more discreet manner, wherein he will probably just let the process happen. He will not intervene anything, and he'll just keep doing his job. Unless there's a major thing that has happened, a candid photographer or any photographer for that matter should not intervene any rituals or anything, is what is my personal opinion. That is the way I usually try to operate in any weddings.
You should be so attentive that
Yes, you need to be. Yes, you need to be extremely alert, and the entire game is of awareness. Your general awareness of where you are, what you're speaking, and how you're behaving in front of the couple and people in general. It helps a lot. Yes.
And now there's another term which is prevailing in the industry from last 5-6 years or maybe more: videography and cinematography. This.
So yes, it is similar to what I said. A traditional photographer and a candid photographer is. A cinematographer is a much more complex term, though. A cinematographer is someone who has a very in-depth knowledge about light, how you are going to direct the couple, and a lot of things, a lot of complexities that come across the way. And you are also directing the shoot in a way, because you are kind of making sure everything falls in such a place that when you see the end video, it's a proper story. It's not haphazardly put like a traditional video would be. A traditional video is more like how your day would go by, and you're just documenting it as it is. But a cinematographer would kind of direct you. He would say, you can do this. This can make it look better. So stuff like that. This basic direction and interaction with the couple makes a cinematic video what it is.
So is there any difference in the equipments also which you carry for both the things?
Yes.
Both the a terminology, or is just the terminology which is different?
No, obviously not. So yes, the equipment is obviously different for a traditional videographer and a cinematographer. So the cinematographer would most likely prefer a lot of prime lenses, wherein your 24s, your 35s, your 50s, and 85s would come in play. Whereas as a traditional videographer would be mostly on a wide zoom lens, like a 24-105 or a 24-70 or something like that. Yeah.
And when we talk about the equipment, now these days these cameras are like, is as
Yep.
good as your
Yeah.
your equipment.
Yep.
So, being a photographer, as you said that you're engaged, you're not married yet. Would you imagine your wedding without a photographer?
It's very difficult. No, it's not possible. So this was a learning experience for me when I was shooting the same amount of weddings as I would pre-COVID. So in COVID, when the guest list was 15, उसमें 3 photographers अगर आप रख सकते हो तो I don't think photography is ever going to fail in India. So that is a very important thing which I learned, is that photography is very critical for people in India. Wedding photography is very critical for people in India, wherein people want those memories to be preserved for the next 20, 25, 30 years. Because you see your parents' albums also, maybe they didn't have a good photographer, but they had someone. Right, the photographs might be a little awkward, but you always have those memories with you. And awkward photographs हो या अच्छे photographs हो, that has its own beauty. Because आप अभी भी अगर 15-20 साल के बाद देखोगे तो फिर वो देख के आप कुछ चीज़ें याद आती है जो उस समय हुई थी.
So basically, gets back to the same emotion.
Right,
tone.
exactly. Yes. So the basic ideology of photography has obviously evolved, but the core concept is the same, that is to preserve memories.
Do you see weddings being shot on instead of camera mobile? Is it a possibility?
Yes,
Can you think?
absolutely it is, and I think it can happen someday in the future. And obviously it is. I'm not sure how the print quality would be, but it is perfectly fine to view it on a phone or a computer or even a TV for that matter. You can obviously view it, but the thing is that with the bigger equipments that we use, we produce a more quality image than maybe a phone would. But yeah, in the near future, when phones have acquired that technology, we might have to make sure to do this podcast again.
One more important thing which I want to ask you about the yesterday's and today's is the deliverables.
Yes.
What are the changes in deliverables 5 years, 10 years before and today?
Yes, so the deliverables 5 years ago were very simple, I would say, than today, because today what we are delivering to a couple is much more complex, and it's much more quantity wise, it's a lot more. So when we're doing a big scale wedding, say if there are 4 functions involved, we try to make sure we deliver a reel which is function wise, because that is what the demand is right now. And apart from that, the number of photographs that you get in today's time is somewhere like it's in thousands, wherein people who used to shoot on film before, they used to get like 100, 200 photographs, and that was your album. Now 100 and 200 is like you get it. 100 and 200 is nothing in today's time. So the number of deliverables are obviously much more higher, and obviously they are in better quality also. So yeah.
So if I consider this, that the job of a photographer has become a little more easier because of the digital cameras, or it is different?
So that depends on the person, to be honest. It is easier in terms of understanding the technology. It's much more easier for anyone to pick a camera and start shooting and learn along the way. Wherein when people used to do on film cameras, there was a proper understanding of lighting and exposure. That was obviously a very different and difficult job. But yes, in today's time, like I said, learning the instrument is easier, but you still need to acquire the skill, right? It's the skill of your general awareness and how alert you are and how you're communicating, because you see a lot of people having same equipment but not giving same results. That is what it is.
See, the pricing, so the pricing earlier and pricing today is also a huge difference. But today also when we also deal with a lot of photographers, some photographers give us X price, some photographers give us 3x, 5x. Why this difference? Like for a client who doesn't understand about the photography or cinematography or about videography, how do they understand that which is the right pricing for them?
So the difference between the pricing, like you mentioned, why is it so varied, is actually because of it's a matter of experience. Obviously, a person who's charging you more will obviously be more experienced, and the kind of deliverables he might be delivering for his clients will be different. But yeah, the major difference is of quality. And for you to for the photographer to make his clients understand what quality or what impact you are creating on their wedding, if you can get that point across to them, they will definitely pay you. And if they don't understand why you're charging that much, then maybe you need to work on it as well. So that is something which I feel is the way to go.
Okay. So how a client or a couple decide a good photographer or a good cinematographer for their wedding?
So it's not based on Instagram followers. That is something which I would like to say. Because yes, we come across people who kind of say that you have less followers than, or maybe your content may not go that viral or something like that. So yes, obviously in a modern society, I think these things also matter. It's a harsh reality right now. But for if I have to decide my wedding photographer, I would definitely see what he's offering in terms of not just in terms of deliverables, but in terms of quality. If I'm getting like 100 or 150 photographs which are good compared to 2000 or 3000 photographs which are just average, I would go for the 150 good photographs. That is my take on it. But yes, obviously we live in a world where quantity is also matter. It matters, yes. It matters a lot. So we try to keep a mix of both. When you're hiring a good photographer, ask them the right questions. Like people ask us what equipment we're using and what lenses we're using. So my personal opinion on that is I don't think that really matters for the couple also to know in that sense, because it's good to have general knowledge about what you're going to use and stuff, but your result is not going to matter that much. So asking the right questions, identifying if it's the right fit for you in terms of the content that you're seeing on his profile. Like, is it a lot more posier, or is it more documentary style or something like that? Or are you more inclined towards those dreamy locations, or you're inclined towards indoor shoots or stuff like that? So when you ask the right questions to your photographer, I think that can help you shortlist a good one.
And what are the common mistakes a couple make while selecting a photographer, or after they have selected the photographer, or on the day of wedding? All of these common mistakes.
So the common mistakes, I would say, is not delegating on time, or not having a wedding planner, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So not having a wedding planner. So I have done weddings where couples have taken care of things by themselves. Obviously, it's a amazing thing that you're single-handedly taking care of a wedding, but you don't have to, right? When you have services available as a wedding planner who can just do that job for you flawlessly, that is something which I usually advise my couples to make sure you delegate things and not be involved in these micro decisions wherein you are occupied till the day of your wedding. So you try to delegate a lot of these small things which can be shared by your friends or family or your wedding planner, obviously. And apart from that, communicating with all your vendors, make sure what their deliverables are, when they're arriving. Is it the same person who is coming at your function whom you spoke to, or is it someone else? So these are the things which I usually advise. Like, if even if you're not finalizing with me, it is still my duty to educate them. So that is something which I do nonetheless.
And what is that one mistake which they make for their wedding photography or videography, which they can rectify with your advice?
Not giving enough time. That is something which I feel every photographer, every cinematographer, if you have a conversation with, will tell you the same thing. It is very, very crucial to give time on that day. If you are hiring a specific person who can do that job for you, you need to allow some time, appropriate amount of time. So when we speak with the couple or the wedding planner to discuss the schedule with them, that is when we identify the slots where we can just take them for like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes over there, so that they don't have to give us an hour directly. Because it's not possible when you're doing a wedding, it's not possible for the couple to just give us an hour and do the photo shoot. It just completely ruins your schedule for the day. So we speak with the planner and the couple closely just to identify where can we get those slots wherein we can maybe do an interview or a couple shoot or family portraits and stuff like that. So not giving enough time is the major mistake that most people do.
When you talk about not giving enough time, so my challenge with which we face as our planners, couple is getting ready, makeup artist is busy in doing the wake up.
Let's not go there.
No, I want to go there because that's very important. Okay, then the photographers are asking us, okay, we want to go and shoot them. Obviously, you are also right at your point, because that is the time you want to shoot them in a fresh look, obviously. And the Panditji is sitting there and I want bride and groom faster as possible. Because now these days, not that makeup ho gaya, shoot ho gaya aur aa jao.
Right.
There's entry in between. There are a lot of other things, small here and there, So how do we manage that?
So that is a very brilliant question, because when I speak to wedding planners, very few people ask how to make it work. It is more like, being a wedding planner, you are kind of a showrunner for that wedding, is what I usually see. And it is one of the most difficult jobs I feel is of a wedding planner and an MC also, for that matter. It's very difficult to make sure things are starting on time and you are just doing all the right things to make sure it goes smoothly. So the most important thing in that case is that be it makeup artists or photographers or any vendors you have, I feel they should work closely together, which is not the case right now. People just work amongst themselves and the community is just here and there. In an Indian wedding where we have a lot of vendors involved, I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to work together. Everyone should be together. So we also try to speak with the Panditjis before everything starts, so we get an idea where they're going to sit and what the rituals are going to be. Is there anything different from what we've shot before? So all of these things, these little conversations with the makeup artists, with the Panditjis, will help you a lot. Any photographer, you are not competing with anyone over there. There is no competition. There is a guest count of 500 and everyone is going to look at your work exclusively. There is no competition. You are the only person who is doing work over there. But you have other people who are also doing their work. So you can't really say or disturb their work as well. So another thing what I have observed is the makeup artists, like we were saying, why they shoot amongst themselves now is majorly because of the photographers. I will never blame the makeup artist, because when they tried to collaborate or ask for pictures from the photographer, they never gave it. So they took matters in their own hands and now they're shooting it. So now your time, which used to be half an hour, is 15 minutes or even 10 minutes for that matter. So that is another thing which we should improve. The relations with everyone who is involved in a wedding should be good, at least for those 2-3 days, so that you don't have any clashes, because you are shooting, it's not your day, it's the couple's day. So you have to make sure everyone is just having a good time and everyone is together so that we can make the process smooth.
Yeah. I mean, like we just talk about it. So if you have a wedding planner, make sure that you do one meeting with all your vendors together. Especially when photographer, makeup artist, pandit ji, and caterer, choreographer, all these vendors who are making your wedding day special. Make sure that everybody sit on one table and you discuss the entire itinerary, day-to-day itinerary, day 1, day 2, so that everybody is aware how much time they have for their job and who is going to help them in that particular timing. As else now these days everybody wants to put their work on Instagram. Everybody like to carry their own photographer, videographer, or the person who's making their content. This can also be reduced if we have the cohesive environment, if we have collaborative environment where the photographer can help them. Okay, we will give you the entire footage, whoso is required on time, so that it saves a lot of time for everybody, right? And in case if you do not have a wedding planner, on board, no problem. But still, whoso is managing your wedding, your family, your friends, your cousin, whoso is doing it, make sure that you do one meeting with all the vendors on the venue, where you understand the entire flow of the event. Thank you. So friends, inspired by Coffee with Karan, we are trying to do this quick fire round. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so Kartik.
Is there a hamper involved?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So it was a rapid fire question to me. So as of now, no, but yes, when you come next time,
Sure.
definitely we will keep it.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your favorite lens?
So I have been shooting on 24mm all my life, and I wish to do that for the rest of my life.
Great. And what is your favorite camera?
So I have been using Canon for a very long time, and obviously I would like to do the same.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Okay. Color or black and white?
Black and white.
Studio or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Candid or post?
Candid.
Or mom day?
Mountains.
Okay. India or abroad?
India.
Okay. Rajasthan or Kerala?
Rajasthan.
Okay. And bride or groom?
Wow. Brides.
Brides. Everybody would like to go for brides.
Yes.
Thank you, Kartik. Thank you very much for your insightful knowledge. And I think this must be very knowledgeable and informative podcast for our viewers also. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you, friends, for watching this episode. And if you have liked this episode, please share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये content किसी के लिए important है, please share with them. And in case if you want us to cover a specific topic or content, please comment below. Thank you.